Welcome to McNish Fab. Today we're going to polish this intake tube. I covered the removal and installation of this tube in another video. I had to cut out like 3 hours of sanding and polishing just to get this all fit in under 7 minutes. Enjoy! Okay, so I've got this sanded down, using an angle grinder and some sanding discs. This is 180 grit discs, that's what I did most of it with. Just gotta keep it moving. Don't stop in one spot, it'll make deep grooves and lines. You can see there's kind of some lines on here still. So next I'm gonna hit this with a palm sander and just keep moving on it so I get it smoothed down to that's 180 grit as well, and then I'll go 400 grit, then I'll go 600 grit, and then I'll probably touch it with 1000 grit, and then we'll go ahead and buff it out on the machine. This one, as you can see, I got the back casting mark mostly out of it, so you can see there's still kind of a bit of a seam right there. It was a really deep casting groove, kind of like this one right here. Now when this pipe's installed, you can't see pretty much past here. And the back though, you can see this section here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off, and when I polish it, I'll polish all the way around here. This one, I won't be polishing the bottom section here, and I might polish this. Same with these casting marks. You can't see any of this. You can't see below, basically right here on the intake manifold. So, you see how quickly that comes down with this grit. This is 100 grit. Okay, so I sanded this with 180 grit with the palm sander you saw, and then I went up to 400 grit. This is a 600 grit wet or dry. You're trying to get out of these bigger scratches until you get kind of a smooth surface. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. I got the camera zoomed in pretty good, but I had to go back to 400 grit. It only took me maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Take these check marks out. There's a couple right here. You can't see this whole side of the pipe in the car. It's a lot of stuff around it. Can't even really see down to here. Got it all sanded out. I just used my pad, my 400 grit pad. Now we can go to the 600 grit. Take the marks off from that. It's super messy, by the way. Now we'll switch over to 1000 grit. And a note about clamping it in your vise. Don't ever do it on the gasket surface. If you have to, put a piece of block of wood in between it maybe. You can put a rag around it too as well to help, but obviously don't clamp it on what you're just sanded, because that'll leave some pretty good marks. You can't see any of this edge and I'm not sanding it down, so that's why I put it in the vise. Okay, sanded it with 1000 grit, came out kind of like this. And I started polishing it. I bought this stuff, polishing compound, brown, from Harbor Freight. It's like $4. Put a little bit on your wheel. Trying not to rub it on this. I'm not going for a total mirror finish, but it's going to be pretty close. Trying to keep my fingers underneath it so I keep it from bouncing. Out of the bench polisher here, there's still some lines, barely see them. I'm going to go ahead and polish it up with some Mother's Mag and aluminum polish. There we have it. Could polish it some more and make it like a mirror. There's no reason for that. It's going in my engine compartment. see the side that I didn't polish right there on the bottom. How the edges look, but when it's in the car installed, that's all you can see. Polished piece on the left. The one on the right's only sanded with 400 grit, this one here. And that's the other half of the tube, same pipe. I don't know if you can see in the camera, I tried to get it focused in as the best I could. There's sideways scratches going this way. That's the previous, that's the 180 grit right there. This right here, I got some 320 grit. I'm gonna try and get rid of these scratches. That's basically how we polish. We just gotta get rid of the scratches from the last sandpaper. There. I think you can see it in the camera, but all those scratches that were going this way, they're gone. That's all it took. Just a couple seconds of sanding. But I gotta do that whole process over the entire tube now. I buffed this one now, which matches the other pipe, which is here. There's still, it's gotta show on the camera. Right in here, see those little marks right there? Sanding marks. I can go ahead and sand those down, and maybe here a little bit, but you really can't see any of this pipe below here, so maybe in here a bit. Alright, there we go, some shiny pipes. Please ask any questions in the comments below and subscribe to my videos for more. Thanks for watching.